Thank you very much. Everyone can be seated. So, Mr. Boat,
Your Honor, we are at this time going to introduce several exhibits and evidence that were discussed previously today. There are Plaintiff's Exhibit 79, Plaintiff's 245, Plaintiff's 38, 50, 70, 71, and 73, as well as Plaintiff's 233, 217, 211, 212, 213, and 224B, which will be played in between the depositions that we will play this afternoon.
As before, other than the objections previously stated.
all right. So, the court then will receive those.
And then the first deposition that we will play is of Andrew Bornstein, which was taken on March 3rd, 2015.
So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, please consider this videotape deposition of Mr. Andrew Bornstein, taken March 3rd, 2015, and consider it and weigh this as you would other evidence in the case.
Will the court for the moderation of marital dissolutions please swear to the witness?
Mr. President, please raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear the testimony you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
You've just taken an oath to tell the truth. You're required by law to tell the truth. Do you understand that?
I do.
Can you tell me your title at Gawker meetings?
My current title?
Yes.
President of Advertising and Partnerships.
Can you tell me your educational background, please, or your college?
Sure. I graduated from Boston University in the fall of '97.
Did you get a degree?
I did.
In what?
History.
Bachelor of Arts?
Yes.
Did you do any education after BU?
I did.
Where?
I went to New York Law School.
For how long?
Semester.
And when did you start at Gawker?
In July of 2011.
And what was your first position at Gawker?
I was Chief Advertising Officer.
And what did the Chief Advertising Officer do?
I was responsible for sales, sales marketing, ad operations.
So why don't you just tell me your duties and responsibilities as Chief Advertising Officer at Gawker starting in July 2011?
With regards to
Your job?
so I was brought on to help build and grow the business.
Did you interview with anyone at Gawker before you were hired?
I did.
And what did they tell you they wanted you to do if you were going to be hired?
Grow the business.
Okay. And did they give you specifics on how they were hoping you would grow the business?
Not specifics. I mean, I think that's why they were interested in talking to me, was how can I help them understand what was required to grow the business?
When you came to Gawker, did you grow the business?
Not at first.
Okay, why not?
I just need ramp-up time to, get the team in place and understand just with first-hand experience as to what some of the needs were assessed.
When would you say the ramp-up started after you got hired?
Ramp up with regards to
Growing the business and seeing results.
growing, like heads or...
Well, the Gawker business, you were talking about you were hired to grow the business.
and eventually you grew the business, right?
Right, I mean, so day one, my task is assess, listen, strategize, and then put forth a plan that was mine to help grow it. So the result probably came months after, in terms of tangible.
Approximately?
I would say by the end of 2011.
And what was happening at the end of 2011 that wasn't happening in July of 2011?
Growth.
How specifically?
Team growth, revenue growth,
What does team growth mean?
hires to build up departments, add sellers.
So specifically, who got hired? What types of people? How many and what types?
Yeah, sellers first and foremost.
People selling in advertising space?
Correct.
So sellers went from what to what from when you were hired until the end of the year 2011?
When I started, I believe there were 6 sellers, and we hired. How many did we hired 1 in October of that year.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had a rep firm, is the best way to explain it, that was brought on as well. So 2 sellers that I can recall, and then the other departments, there might have been 1 or 2 in like a support capacity.
And then you mentioned revenue growth. Was revenue growing between July and December 2011?
Yeah, it started to.
And to what do you attribute that revenue growth?
Organization, structure, and process that I brought.
Describe it specifically.
I was asked to bring professional services and based on my experience to help organize and calibrate the team resources in ways that were not implemented prior to my joining the organization.
Were these processes that existed in some of your other companies that you work for, and you were bringing that kind of way of doing business to Gawker?
I brought my approach.
In 2012, were you hiring sellers?
I was.
Say from the beginning of 2012 to the end of 2012, how many sellers, the total number of sellers went from what to what? And we're talking about people who sell ad space online at Gawker websites, right?
2 for sure. I'm trying to think specifically in 20.
I'm sorry, just to be clear, we're talking about just during the calendar year 2012?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry for the error.
No.
And then revenue growth, was there revenue growth in 2012?
There was.
You started out as the Chief Advertising Officer in July of 2011. Did your title change at any point?
I did. I became Chief Revenue Officer.
And when was that?
I want to say December of 20, how long was it? A year? 2012 or 2013? I think December of 2012.
How would you describe, say, the first half of 2012 revenue growth?
Slow to start and picked up.
Third quarter 2012, how was revenue?
I can't remember the specific amount, but it was it was stronger. The momentum was starting to build, so was it stronger than the year before? It was stronger.
Do you recall in or about October 2012 when Gawker.com posted a minute and 41 seconds of a sex tape involving Hulk Hogan?
I remember, yeah, I recall the post, the date.
What do you remember about that time period and that issue specifically?
About the post itself.
Yeah, the sex tape and how the company was doing revenue growth and what you were dealing with at the company.
I didn't really give it too much of a thought.
How was revenue growth in 2013? Let's take the first half of 2013.
2013, pretty good.
And what about the rest of 2013?
2013 was pretty good. Again, I'm not great with no, 2013 was good.
How many people work in ad ops operations?
5.
Do they keep track of data relating to advertising?
In terms of
Anything? Do they keep data?
well, they don't keep data. They monitor impressions. That's the best way to.
Impressions meaning, what, describe what an impression
An
is.
ad impression.
How would you describe what an ad impression is?
How would I describe what an ad impression is? A display banner ad.
So if a user is out there on the internet and they're on a particular page that has an advertisement, is that an impression?
Well, it gets somewhat technical, but yes, for all intents and purposes, if you see it.
If somebody's on the page, it's an impression.
Not if they're on the page. The ad would have to display.
Right. If they're on a page that has an ad that's displayed, that's an impression.
Correct.
They don't have to click on the banner for it to be an impression.
No.
What type of advertising does Gawker provide to its advertisers? Separate from the Amazon component.
Gawker.com or all the sites. Display advertising.
So
we want.
banner ad?
Correct.
So under the category of display advertising, you mentioned banners.
Yeah.
Are there any other types of display advertising?
No, banners are display. I look at banners and display as one and the same.
Does Gawker determine ad rates based on CPM?
Determining ad rates based on CPM, we sell it on a CPM basis. The clients basically determine the CPM that they're willing to pay for it.
And what are those CPM rates currently? Is there a range?
Yeah, it would depend on the placement. I mean, the average in 2014, for example, was somewhere in like the $12 range. And that would take in some of the high and the lows, so that would be the net effective CPM, which is good compared to overall industry norms.
Now we're going to play a brief clip from Exhibit 224B that I referenced, which is an interview with Mr. Dent, radio podcast.
Let's talk about the relative difference between Twitter and Facebook as a distribution platform for your stories. And is it surprising to you that I think Twitter is kind of flattening out in terms of users? Is it still as important to you?
I think Twitter is going to be an important signal for our journalists. because Twitter often reflects the opinions and the preferences of other journalists and influencers. So to the extent that you believe, as we do, that there is a premium media market, that there is such a thing as influence, and that absolute raw numbers, the kind of raw numbers that you get from Facebook, aren't everything, then Twitter remains, even though it's insignificant in terms of traffic, it remains very important to develop our thinking and to get our stories to the people who's the people, frankly, we care about the most.
When Twitter's management says we want to be as big as Facebook, we want to reach all the world's users, do you think that's plausible or that misguided?
I think it would be disappointing for them to have that aim because Facebook already exists, and it would be nice for Twitter to form some other function, and it would be useful, I think, in media for there to be a platform for influence and intelligence, and not just for scale.
And this is a deposition of Peter Horan, dated April 23rd of 2015.
All right, so move to the jury, please consider this deposition, sworn deposition taken April 23rd, 2015 of Peter Horan, and please weigh this and consider as you would other evidence.
I do.
Could you please state your full legal name for me?
Yes, Peter Claver Horan, Horan, Claver.
Do you understand that the testimony you're giving today is given under oath?
Yes, sir.
So it's under penalty of perjury, same way as if you were testifying live in front of a jury. Okay? You understand that the videotape is actually being taken in deposition as well today, not
Yes.
actually played in court as well. So just keep that in mind as we're going through the deposition today. You've been retained in this case to testify as an expert on behalf of Gawker Media LLC, Nick Denton, and AJ Valera. Do you understand that?
Yes.
And you're being compensated at the rate of $400 per hour for both in-court and out-of-court time. Is that correct?
Yes.
Your educational background says that you attended Santa Clara University from 1972 to 1976, correct?
That is correct.
And you got your BA in English and History?
Correct.
And then you attended San Francisco State University from 1978 to 1991, is that correct?
I think 81.
81, sorry.
Yes.
And you got your MBA there?
Correct.
Other than your education at the two schools that we discussed, have you attended any other higher education?
No.
Do you hold any other degrees?
No.
What is your field of expertise?
Running and investing in internet media companies and advertising companies.
Are you an expert in any other fields?
No.
What is viral in the context of your industry?
Viral is users talking about a particular topic and sharing content voluntarily because they're excited about it and they want their friends to see it.
Are you familiar with the concept known as viral marketing?
Yes.
What is viral marketing?
It's trying to accelerate and encourage that process, trying to encourage users to talk about a brand, to talk about a movie, to talk about an article and share it with them.
Are videos sometimes used as a way of viral marketing?
Yes.
What's the intersection of the social web with media and advertising?
For example, Facebook now really believes it should be the front page of every newspaper. Their ambition is to sort of preempt that sort of first contact in the morning, saying, here are the most interesting stories. And they're going to media companies and saying, we want to be your major form of distribution and reaching your audience. That's a really specific example. As we talked about, in a lot of cases, people aren't waking up in the morning going to the front page of the newspaper. They'll go to their Twitter feed or their Facebook feed,
and they'll see what stories their friends are talking about. And so that's actually where a lot of media companies are actually getting a lot of traffic right now, is from social media.
When you say media companies, you mean companies like Gawker?
Yes, Gawker and most other media companies, sure.
Are online media companies, are you aware of them having their own Facebook pages?
Oh, certainly.
Are you aware of online media companies having their own Twitter accounts?
Of course, right.
Do they, in your experience, do online media companies use their Facebook pages and Twitter accounts to attract visitors to their sites?
Yes, they did.
And how do they do that?
Two different ways. Again, this goes back to the notion of organic versus paid distribution. So they will certainly, through their Twitter account, promote each story that they do during a day typically. More and more content companies are promoting stories with paid placements on Facebook in particular, sometimes on Twitter, to drive initial traffic.
Exhibit 308. Have you ever seen this article before?
Especially printed this way. I'd say I'm somewhat familiar with it, but I can't say, oh yeah, I saw this exact article.
If you look on the second page, it talks about the target being U.S. monthly news. It says this is a figure that journalists cite when judging a site's competitive position. Yeah. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Because when we had talked earlier, you were about or answers being one of the top 10 media properties. That was based on
Yes.
right? Yeah. Going back to Exhibit 308, Mr. Denton says, finally, a site with plenty of genuine uniques is one that has good growth prospects. Do you agree with that statement?
Sure.
And then he goes on to say that each of those first-time visitors is a potential convert. Do you agree with that statement?
Yes.
The last paragraph there says, over time, I hope writers will focus more of their energies on the stories that have the potential to break out on Twitter, Facebook, or in TV coverage.
Yes.
Is that viral marketing?
Yes.
Which shouldn't be a big challenge. He goes on to say, it just means that you have to be even more original, more provocative, or even more of a hustler than usual. Are provocative stories the types of stories that typically will end up becoming viral? In your experience?
In my experience, sure.
Would you agree that viral marketing is a technique that uses social networking to try to increase brand awareness?
That is one of the uses of viral marketing, sure.
And viral marketing is valuable, correct?
It's a little bit of a broad statement, but sure. Exactly.
It's a very low-cost advertising mechanism for companies, correct?
That, yes, as part of the entire marketing mix, it's a valuable tool.
I'll show you what was previously marked as Exhibit 92. Have you ever seen this before?
Yes.
Okay. Now the top of this is a video box, correct?
Yep.
That would play the video when you click on it.
Yep.
There's a box underneath that. It's blue. You know what that box is?
I'm sorry, are you pointing here?
Yes.
I believe that is it's a social media interaction box.
Okay, what's a social media interaction box?
It's designed to make it easy for folks to share this with their friends or indicate that they like it on Facebook.
So if someone clicked the share box on there, they would have a choice of sharing it on Facebook or Twitter, those types of social networks.
Yes.
And then there's also, right underneath the blue box, it says, get our top stories, follow Gawker. You see that?
Yes. Yep.
That would be a link where you would choose to follow Gawker on various social media formats.
Yes, principally on Twitter, but yes.
Exhibit 311. You ever seen this before? This is a printout of Gawker's Facebook page, correct?
Correct.
It's dated October 4th of 2012. You understand that to be the date that the Hogan post was published by Gawker?
I believe that is correct, yeah.
The top of this says, it's probably time you watch this snippet from the Hulk Hogan sex tape with the woman's son claiming his other beloved Sponge's wife. Works over, you're fine, and there's a woman. Okay. Now that would be the text that Gawker would post, correct?
Yes.
Would you characterize that post as inviting people to watch the Hogan sex tape?
Yes.
Are you familiar with what clickbait is?
Yes.
Is clickbait defined as a publisher posting a link with a headline that encourages people to click to see more?
I would say it's defined as, but that's a good working definition, sure.
Would this Facebook post that we just looked at, Exhibit 311, would that qualify as clickbait?
Not really, but like I said, it's not, clickbait is typically things where it's more just the headline, 57 celebrity tattoos you've never seen before, and you click it. Because it's actually on their page with the video box. It's a little different than sort of classic clickbait, but it's certainly a promotional piece.
Now, we had looked at the share box before in Exhibit 92.
Yeah.
If someone were to share this story from Gawker.com, the Hogan post, would it, when it came up on their Facebook page, would it look similar to how it does on Gawker's page with the video showing?
Okay, I would think so. I'm not 100% certain, but I would think so. And frankly, the question is, because it's SFW, I don't know if Facebook or Twitter would actually try to block it. They have some content filtering along the way.
Well, if you look back at Exhibit 311, it says right in the title that it's not safe for work. So that probably would have been blocked if there was a filter, right?
Like, let me say, might have gotten through. I don't know if it would have gotten through. Might have gotten through.
We had looked before at the article, Exhibit 308, when Mr. Denton said that,
Which one was that? Sideways.
308 and the sideways one.
There's I got it.
Which he said, over time, I hope writers will focus more of their energies on stories that have the potential to break out on Twitter, Facebook, or in TV coverage. And you agreed that that was viral marketing?
Yes.
Would you consider the Hogan post to be viral marketing?
The post itself is not viral marketing. Efforts to get people to share it would be viral marketing. The post itself is just content.
So efforts to share it through the box that we looked at on Exhibit 92 would be viral marketing? The blue box?
Yes, that would be viral marketing.
If someone who came to the Gawker.com website to view the Hogan sex tape then went on to other pages within the Gawker family of websites, say Deadspin or any of the sites, and clicked on an affiliate link, would that lead to revenue?
Yes.
You agree that because Gawker sells CPM advertising, its users act of visiting a page with advertising on it results in revenue?
Okay, so you're asking, do I agree that users visiting pages, there are ads and the ads result in revenue?
Yes.
Yes.
In other words,
Users visit pages, pages have ads on them, Gawker sells ads on those pages, and that results in revenue. We good?
yeah.
All right,
So
then yes.
Do you know whether Gawker in 2012 paid bonuses based on monthly unique users?
No, I did hear that they're trying to grow user base, yes.
What did you hear about them trying to grow user base?
I think I read a news article somewhere that said that Nick was focused on growing users.
And what would be the point of growing users?
To grow revenue. And hopefully Nick wouldn't say that.
Do you know whether Nick Denton describes monthly unique users as the metric critical to deciding whether a site is working or not?
I have heard Nick say things, or read that Nick has said things like that.
Do you agree with that?
It's a metric.
So you think it's a metric, Nick thinks it's the metric, right?
I think it's a metric. Nick can speak for himself.
Generally, how much is an advertisement worth that would be guaranteed to bring 5 million unique visitors to a website?
Really, you don't buy advertising. You very rarely would buy advertising to drive traffic. That's just not how you do it.
But if you could buy an ad that would guarantee to bring 5 million unique viewers to your website, how much would that be worth?
$10,000.
And what are you basing that on?
Revenue drive from it.
And how do you know how much revenue you would drive from 5 million unique visitors to a website?
That's kind of calculation I wrote in my report. Granted, it's an estimate, but it's not wildly off. It's how much traffic, how many pages do they look at, what are those pages worth, what other parts of the Gawker network did they go to.
Have any of the web media businesses that you've been affiliated with, have they ever had marketing campaigns?
A couple?
Some of those been multi-million-dollar marketing campaigns?
No. Are you thinking of a campaign that was at ask.com?
It may have been ask.com. Was that a multi-million-dollar marketing campaign?
That was for a search engine, but yeah.
And was the purpose of that marketing campaign to draw traffic to the ask.com website?
Yes.
And it was a multi-million-dollar advertising.
It was.
How many unique viewers did that multi-million-dollar advertising campaign bring into Inters.com website?
Yes.
Ask.com.
Almost none is a train wreck of a campaign.
It was still a multi-million-dollar campaign.
Right.
When was that campaign?
2007 or 8.
And at this time, we would move Plaintiff's Exhibits 81 and 63 to evidence.
No objection, Your Honor.
And then our final witness for today, Your Honor, will be Kevin Blatt. His deposition is dated March 25th, 2015.
All right, so members of the jury, please consider this video deposition taken of Mr. Blatt, where he was sworn to tell the truth on March 25th, 2015, and please away and consider this as you would other evidence.
Good morning. We said that Mr. Stut this time. Shall we the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? That's what we got.
Can you please state your full legal name?
Kevin David Blatt.
And are you known by any other names or aliases?
I go by KB or K Bezel.
Do you have any other nicknames or stage names?
No, I don't.
What is your field of expertise?
My field of expertise is in the brokering of celebrity sex tapes, as well as publicity on them.
When you say on them, you mean celebrity sex tapes?
Yes.
And when you say publicity, what do you mean by that?
To generate interest in or to publicize the existence of a celebrity sex tape.
And how would you go about doing that, generating interest?
Primarily through press releases or the brokering of content to various tabloids, news agencies.
And can you tell me what you mean by the brokering of content to tabloids or news agencies?
Sure. I work as a middleman. And what I do when clients come to me is I try to ascertain what they're looking to do with it. Are they looking to get publicity? Are they looking to sell the contents and license the contents of the video that they have or the pictures that they might have?
And once you make that determination, what do you do?
Once I make a determination of what my client wants to do, so we go about either selling it as a story or brokering it to a studio to put out the commercial use.
And when you say sell as a story, the fact that a sex tape exists is a commodity that can be sold to media outlets?
That's correct.
Are you an expert in any other fields?
No, I'm not.
Do you have any expertise in the media or the news?
I mean, only as much as I work with them.
Do you have any expertise in what is not newsworthy?
No.
And we've kind of been talking about this, I think we understand, but when you broker a sex tape, what does that mean?
When I broker a sex tape, it could go several different ways. I could be brokering the story of the existence of a sex tape to the media, or I could be brokering the actual rights on behalf of the celebrities, providing that they've signed off, both of them, and have 2257 paperwork and model releases associated with it to a studio or a website.
When you say you broker the existence to the media, what does that mean?
I would sell a story based upon the knowledge I have and the proof that I have that tape exists. It might be in the form of a screen cap, it could be in the form of a audio clip, it could be in the form of a video clip.
So the story itself, that there's a celebrity sex tape, has value?
Absolutely.
Is that value related to the fame of the celebrity involved?
Yes.
How so?
Well, if the celebrity is a big female, that can be worth a lot of money. If it's a male, traditionally it's not worth as much.
Let me ask it another way. Does the Q rating of a celebrity have an impact on the value of selling a story to a media outlet?
I would imagine so, yes.
Well, in your experience, has it had an impact?
Yes.
So, stories about celebrities who have sex tapes that have higher Q ratings, in your experience, you've sold those to media for more money than celebrities with lower Q ratings.
Not necessarily more money. They might pique more interest, but not necessarily more money.
Would the value of a story that you would broker to a media site, would that be based in part on that quote from you we discussed earlier, that the media has an insatiable desire to profit from porn and sexually related stories?
Yes.
Do you have any idea why the media pays you for these stories?
I think the general audience these days has an insatiable appetite to see people who are famous doing things they shouldn't be doing, or seeing famous people doing something that's as human as having sex. In a lot of cases, it humanizes the celebrity instead of putting them up on a platform, and it brings them right down to where you and I are. This is something that everybody primarily does in their homes, and it's something that once it's exhibited, people are curious. There's a natural tendency to be curious.
That insatiable appetite that draws people to the media's websites, the media profits off of that, correct?
I don't know, because I don't work for media sites, so I don't know how they generate the majority of their income.
What's your current occupation?
My current occupation is publicist/media broker.
What's a media broker?
I primarily broker information in the form of licensing video, licensing content, which could be text messages, pictures, video, in hopes of licensing a story to the mainstream media.
What a simpler way of saying that being you sell stories to the media?
Correct.
What media outlets have you sold stories to?
TMZ, Read Online, ABC News, Daily Mail, Clean Food.
Have you ever sold any stories to Gawker?
Never.
Have you ever sold any stories to any websites affiliated with Gawker?
No.
Let's talk about your qualifications. Do you have any education, training, or experience in valuing intellectual property?
Yes.
What education, training, or experience do you have in valuing intellectual property?
You know, my experience has been in working with HotelHeiress.com, which was a Paris Hilton sex tape, online, and protecting the intellectual property of that tape from infringers.
And what was your title or position with HotelHeiress.com?
Was a affiliate and referrer.
What does that mean? An affiliate or a referrer?
I was an affiliate of their affiliate program, which sends traffic to a website, but I also sent Rick Solomon, who was a copyright holder of the tape, to the web company.
And can you just explain for us what, when you say an affiliated program sends traffic to the website, what does that mean?
Through the use of a referrer code, one can send traffic or hits to a centralized affiliate program. In this case, it was an affiliate program called XPages, which housed HotelHeiress.com.
And then, what was the other role that you had with HotelHeiress.com, other than the affiliate?
And brokering and putting Rick Solomon, the copyright holder, together with the internet company.
Did you represent Mr. Solomon?
Yes, I did.
Are you familiar with the laws governing sex tapes and your role as a sex tape broker?
Yes.
So as part of your expertise as a sex tape broker, you need to be familiar with the laws governing sex tapes. Is that correct?
Not necessarily.
In any professional experience, there's a list of names. I'm going to go through them and ask how, just generally how you're involved. We'll talk about each of them in more detail later. I think we already talked about Paris Hilton. How are you involved with Kim Kardashian and sex tape?
I was initially approached by Ray J to sell that tape.
And was that tape actually sold?
Yes, it was.
How are you involved with Tila Tequila?
Tila Tequila. I was brought a sex tape of hers by an ex-boyfriend and tried to negotiate getting her on board with her rights of publicity to market the tape.
Was that tape actually marketed?
No, it was not.
Did she subsequently appear in sexually explicit videos?
Yes, she did.
And were those actually videos that were produced by a pornography company?
Yes, there's a video put up that tape.
What about Vern Troyer? How are you involved with Vern Troyer?
I was initially solicited by Vern's ex-girlfriend, who was 50% copyright holder of the Vern Troyer sex tape.
And was the Vern Troyer sex tape sold?
No, it was not.
Vern Troyer is, who most people know as Minnie Mae from the Austin Power movies.
That's correct.
And who is Tila?
Tila Tequila was a online personality who at one point had more friends on MySpace than any other person. She was quite popular for a small window of time.
And then, how are you involved with China's sex tape?
I was approached by a third party who worked on her behalf to broker her sex tape.
And China is a professional, or was a professional wrestler in the WWE.
That's correct.
Was her sex tape sold?
Yes, it was.
Did she subsequently perform in videos produced by pornography companies?
Yes.
How were you involved with Lady Meester's sex tape?
I was approached by a former boyfriend of hers with a tape that she had.
And who's Lady Meester?
Lady Meester was and is an actress in Hollywood.
And was her sex tape actually sold?
No, it's not.
How were you involved with Colin Farrell's sex tape?
I was approached by a third party who wanted to sell the rights to the Colin Farrell sex tape.
Who was the third party?
I still don't know to this day.
And Colin Farrell's an actor?
Yes, he is an A-list actor.
Was his sex tape sold?
No, it was not.
And how were you involved with Jeremy Jackson?
I was approached by a gang of bikers who had stolen his sex tape with Sky Lopez.
And who's Jeremy Jackson?
He is better known as Hobie from Baywatch.
And was his sex tape sold?
No, it was not.
So out of the ones listed in your professional experience, the only ones where sex tapes were sold was Paris Hilton, Kim Kardashian, China, and that's it?
Well, there was also Tom Sizemore.
He's not listed in there, so.
He was not, but there was another tape that came my way, and that was Tom Sizemore.
And who's Tom Sizemore?
He's an actor.
I know some of these things I'm asking you, so that
Okay.
if a jury may not.
Gotcha.
What movies were Mr. Sizemore?
Black Hawk Down, True Romance.
And was the sex tape for Mr. Sizemore sold?
Yes, it was.
And who's it sold to?
Vivid.
How much was it sold for?
I don't know.
Did you broker that deal?
No, I did not.
How were you involved?
I was referred to Jason Tucker, who was the broker on the deal, and put him together with the video.
Is Jason Tucker another celebrity sex tape broker?
No, he was working as a manager of Tom Sizemore's at that time. Tom was staying at his ranch.
Was Mr. Sizemore involved in selling that sex tape?
Yes, he was.
Who was the other participant in that sex tape?
There were 6 participants. They were all prostitutes.
Have you, either personally or through a company, ever involved in the distribution, commercial distribution of pornography?
Yes.
Can you describe for me how you were involved in the commercial distribution of pornography?
I represented a myriad of companies within the adult business. Some specialized in sex toys, others specialized in websites. I also worked as a vice president in the payment processing company that processed for adult websites.
What websites were you involved with that were engaged in the commercial distribution of pornography?
I worked with Red Light District Video. They're the people that put out the Paris Hilton sex tape One Night in Paris. I also work with Sex Toy Network, which is a division of Vivid Video. I also worked for Mac and Mumble, which was a softer, prettier site on course with Playboy. I also work with GameWith, which is a video on demand company.
Any others?
I'm sure there's others that I'm not thinking of right now. Again, pornography is a very general term.
With Red Light Video, was your involvement with Red Light related to the Paris Hilton tape?
Yes.
What did your job duties and responsibilities involve in connection with Red Light Video?
Publicist. Primarily for the One Night in Paris sex tape.
And in that role, what did you do?
I generated interest for One Night in Paris by going to a variety of websites, also went to news stations, tried to buy billboards in LA, as well as radio ads in San Diego.
Did you have a difficult time trying to find advertising for the parasol sex tape?
Yes, I did.
Why is that?
Well, primarily, a lot of the radio stations and billboards wouldn't take money from the adult industry.
Is that why you went to the media outlets?
No.
Mac and Bumble?
Yes.
What did you do there?
I was their VP of marketing.
And what were your job duties and responsibilities in that position?
To publicize the website, get it as much mainstream attention as I could, as well as to target and acquire models to shoot for the website in exotic locations.
And then what did you do for, was it Game Link?
Yes.
What did you do for Game Link?
I was vice president of sales and marketing.
And what were your job duties and responsibilities in that role?
My job duties were similar in that I was looking for affiliates who owned websites, webmasters that would send traffic to our video on demand platform.
And how does that happen? How do affiliates send traffic to the website that you were working for?
So within a website, there might be an area that's specific to watching video on demand. We would make a white label store or white label player to house within that website. That went to us, where people would be able to buy minutes to see hundreds of different adult movies online.
So Game Link was actually an adult content site?
Correct.
Do you agree with the statement that the media has an insatiable desire to profit from porn and sexually related stories?
Yes.
Do you agree that the media is co-conspirator in the marketing strategy?
Yeah.
Have you ever made the statement that sometimes a tape's value is in the number of eyeballs it can attract?
In some cases, yes.
Is it true that the more eyeballs you get, the more money a story is worth?
Not in every case.
Do you recall saying TMZ is the new porn?
Absolutely.
Do you recall saying gossip and celebrity news is where the money is at?
These days for me, yes.
Do you recall saying that websites are all paying for good content these days?
Which websites are you referring to?
Any websites. Do you agree with that statement with respect to any websites?
To gossip websites and to news websites, yes.
Do you agree with the statement that the mere mention of a new celebrity sex tape makes search engine optimization specialists and webmasters start running for their laptops to gobble up keywords and look for affiliate programs that will pay big bucks?
Absolutely.
And can you tell me, what does it mean to have search engine optimization specialists and webmasters start running for their laptops to gobble up keywords?
What's meant by that statement is that when somebody hears of a celebrity sex tape's existence, people will then go online. They will try to buy up not only URLs with the alleged celebrity's name in them, but will also look for keywords that would optimize the searches on Google, Yahoo, Bing, etc., to direct traffic to such a site.
And what's the benefit of optimizing keywords in those situations?
The benefit would be that you're getting the consumer to the site faster and with ease.
Are you familiar with the concept of unique viewers?
Yes.
What do you understand a unique viewer to be?
A unique viewer or unique hit is an individual that comes to a website once during the day.
And are unique viewers important in the adult website industry?
Yes.
Why are they important?
They're important because those are new viewers coming to your website.
Are unique viewers taken into consideration in valuing adult websites?
Yes.
Why?
Because that's how you track the reach of a website, how many people are coming to your website. It's through unique viewers.
Did the amount of unique viewers also have an impact on the advertising associated with websites?
Depends on the website.
And Pornhub and YouPorn, they post sexually explicit videos on their site. And I said post, I'm sorry. They post sexually explicit videos, correct?
Yes.
And those videos are available to be viewed for free on Pornhub and YouPorn, correct?
That's correct.
And so the way that those websites generate revenue is through advertising.
That's correct.
And in your experience in dealing with those websites, they have considered in connection with their advertising unique viewers to be important?
Yes.
Would a Hogan sex tape have value to a site like Pornhub?
Yeah.
They could post it for free, right?
Traditionally, they're not allowed to.
They could post it for free.
They could host it for free.
And it could have value to them because it would draw people to the site, and once there, the people may click on ads.
Correct.
Did you reach any opinions as to any value there may be to the Hogan sex tape in that context that we just discussed?
No, only that I believe that Pornhub's advertisers would be appeased with the result for a day or two, as long as the news story was being fed.
So there'd be some value in it.
Limited value. People are still coming to Pornhub to see hot chicks having sex.
On page 4, paragraph E, you say some distributors use the public's interest in celebrity sex tapes to generate publicity for their company or their website, hoping visitors might then purchase other materials. Do you agree with that statement?
Yes.
And you're aware of instances in that actually happening, correct?
Absolutely.
A minute ago I talked to you about how sites like Pornhub will host a video. Someone submits a video, Pornhub just puts it up, right?
Correct.
So would an adult website that purchases the rights to a celebrity sex tape and then posts that on its site, would they be a producer of pornography?
Okay.
You're aware that Gawker posted an edited version of the actual videotape?
Correct.
What was your role in connection with the first Paris Hilton tape?
I marketed the tape on behalf of sexbrat.com.
And what's sexbrat.com?
Sexbrat.com was a premier destination at one point for all things salacious. We had celebrity sex tapes from Dr. Laura Schlesinger. We also featured Paris Hilton. It was a different era, a different time.
When sexbrat.com didn't have the rights to promote the Paris video, you still plugged their website, right?
That's correct.
You went on the Howard Stern show and plugged their website 23 times?
Yes.
And the reason you did that was to generate traffic to sexbrat.com?
Yes, primarily.
Do you recall after you went on the Howard Stern show how many hits the sexbrat.com servers got?
A lot.
I hand you over to Mark's Exhibit 207. Can you get a chance to look at Exhibit 207?
Yeah, I'm very familiar with it.
Okay. When's the first time you saw, and just to identify it, it's a letter from sex.com to David Houston,
Yes.
attorney at law, addressed to Dear Mr. Galea. When's the first time you've seen this?
When I wrote it.
You wrote this letter. When did you write this letter?
Yes, I did. I wrote this letter after seeing a clip of it on Gawker.com.
At the time, were you working for sex.com?
They're a client of mine, yes.
And when you say a client, what do you mean?
I publicized their website via mainstream press. This was the first thing I did with them.
What does that mean, you publicize their website via mainstream press?
A pseudo-offer letter. In other words, this was just a way, a lost leader of getting sex.com's name out in the press and attaching it to a mainstream news story.
When you say a pseudo-offer letter, is that, by pseudo, you mean false? Is that what you mean?
What I mean by it is that we fully know that the celebrity in question is not going to be answering my offer and isn't going to even pay any attention to this whatsoever. This is just simply a way of piggybacking on some press and the search engine optimization involved with that celebrity.
Why do you send pseudo offer letters?
To get the name out, just like Vivid. I get paid a fee for publicity and getting mainstream press out on different adult websites.
Were you paid to write this letter?
Yes, it was.
How much were you paid?
$3,000.
Who paid you?
Stut.
Didn't you say to me a moment ago that you do the same thing that Mr. Hirsch does with respect to news outlets and media coverage, that you will release information that's not true in order to generate publicity for your clients?
I increase awareness about my company and the brand I represent via using what I would call a pseudo-event publicity, PR release.
Why didn't Sex.com just write the letter themselves?
Because they're not in the business of writing publicity letters. They're in the business of putting out websites and pin boards.
Are you familiar with the Gene Simmons sex tape?
Yes.
Did you have any involvement in that?
Yes.
What was your involvement in the Gene Simmons sex tape?
I was contacted by the offshore corporation that was trying to market it to put it out to have the publicity.
Let me show you what we're going to mark as Exhibit 201. Just for identification purposes, Exhibit 201 is a printout from Vivid.com. I want to just ask you a couple of questions about the first page, and then I'll talk to you about some of the DVDs that are listed. The 3-day trial membership listed here is $4.95. Do you see that?
Yes.
In your experience in the adult industry, is that a common trial membership amount?
Yes.
And then the monthly membership fee is $33.97 per month. Is that a common monthly membership fee for access to adult content?
Not typically. Most are between $29.95 to, I guess, $15 to $29.95.
And you see at the bottom, there's a star, the first star down there. It says after 3 days, membership renews automatically at $33.97 every 1 month until canceled.
That's correct. Yeah, on the bottom.
Is that common within the adult industry websites to have trial memberships automatically renewed into monthly membership?
Yes.
And is it common for people who join for a trial membership, do they have to go through steps to cancel their membership so it doesn't renew?
Yes.
Are you familiar with Vivid Celeb?
Yes, sir.
What's Vivid Celeb?
Vivid Celeb is the division of Vivid.com, Vivid's company that specializes specifically in adult celebrity sex tapes.
Handy will mark as Exhibit 202. Just take a minute to look through it.
Okay.
And on the first page of this exhibit, what's the trial membership fee?
It's a 4-day trial membership for $4.95.
And is that fairly common within the adult industry?
4-day trials are not very common.
What's the common trial period?
3 days.
And then what's the monthly membership fee?
Monthly membership for
this
is $39.95.
And is that fairly common within the adult industry?
I would say that that's premium. That's a definite premium.
Does Vivid have the largest catalog of celebrity sex tapes?
Today, yes.
And is the Tom Sizemore sex tape included within the catalog on Vivid Celeb?
Yes.
And so someone wishing to see the Tom Sizemore sex tape would at least have to pay the $4.95 initial trial period fee to see that tape, correct?
At the very minimum.
When you say the very minimum, what do you mean?
A $4.95 trial would be probably the lowest amount of money someone would have to pay to get in there to see it.
Is that concluded for the day?
Yes,
tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Please remember the rules, and I'll ask you again tomorrow if you need to follow. Thank you all so very much.